Hi, this is Bonnie, and I am going to be showing you a new SVG, and my second video that will have to do with this SVG will be a card tutorial. For right now, I'm going to show you what you need in order to make this barrel card and to make it a little bit more embellished. What you will need, first of all, I'm going to be using this image from Sherri Baldy, and you could use any image, but I'm going to be using this one. It is image 612, and I'll have the link to her up above. You will also be needing an embossing folder that has a wood grain to it. It doesn't have to be this one, but any that you have that has a wood grain in it. You will also be needing a two-way glue pen. You will be needing something you can distress your paper with. I chose to use distress ink, and this one is frayed burlap. I also use a sponging tool. The other thing I'm going to be using is a sanding block, and I'm also going to be using some packing twine. So I'm going to tell you what the first thing is that I do is a little bit about the SVG from Sherri Baldy. It comes in two pieces, as you can see. This is the first layer and this is the second layer. I cut them out at about 2 1/4 inches. When you cut them out, obviously you always have pieces that go inside, and you usually discard these. Save these two pieces, the one at the top that's a lip and the bottom of the barrel. I end up using those again when I make my embellished barrel. The other thing I do is something that I discovered by watching some YouTube videos, that you can actually erase lines. There's an erasing tool, and what I did was I erased all of these lines and just kept the center piece. And I also use a metallic copper paper. That's what this is right here. And what I did was, as you can see, I didn't cut these by hand. I actually erased them before I cut them out on my Cameo. And the deal is, you don't actually even need to save this part. The part that we're going to be wanting is what goes in between all of these pieces. I actually saved my pieces on my mat because it will be easier for me to know where they go exactly when I go to glue them down. Now again, this is an added embellished look that doesn't actually come with the SVG file that you get. Like I said, I actually erased the parts around it so I could just have this middle piece, because I wanted it to look like I actually had a copper band on my barrel. So remember to save that piece if you end up deciding to go that route. The next step will be, to get this started, is I use my embossing folder like I told you, and I went ahead and did that ahead of time. And as you can see, this is what it looks like embossed. And then to give it a little bit more dimension, like I told you, I use the distress ink from Tim Holtz, and I just rub that on there, and it gives a little bit more dimension. It's really kind of, your simple embossing and then distressing with ink. So that's all I really do. You can see there's a little, it shows up a little bit more. This is actually craft paper. The other paper is just your regular textured paper that I use. However, I say regular, it really isn't regular. I should tell you, it is actually a, I have the name of it here for you. It's Coordinations, and I like this brown because when you go to sand it, it gives it an older look. I was trying to see if there was a name to it. I think there is. Hold on one second. It is called French Roast. You probably can't really read that, but it is called French Roast. It works perfect for the outside of the barrel, and it's perfect for sanding. Any white core brown paper, if it's got a white core, would also probably work really well to give it an antique look. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this together, and I'm going to put those pieces, the copper pieces, in between and show you what it looks like when you have a finished barrel. I also embellish it just one step further by using the packing twine. So I'll show you that in just a minute. All right, so I have my, put that down a little bit further for you. I have the metallic pieces put in the center, and I've also put the outer layer on top of the bottom layer. The next thing that I would do, if I'm going to embellish it just a little bit further, this is, you know, one way to embellish them if you want to, is I'm going to lightly sand, not too much because it actually matches the color in the background, to give it a little bit of an used, worn look. It's really subtle, but it does give a little bit of a look of an older barrel. The next thing I do, like I told you, is I use the packing twine. And this is how I basically do it. I have a little bit extended. I'm going to put my knot on this side. I have it a little bit extended, and this doesn't really have a super duper groove in it. So I kind of hold it really good in the back. And I wrap mine around twice. And I kind of, like I said, really hold it. This is not the most flexible. You might find baker's twine works better than this. But anyway, I hold it like this. I figure out where it is that I want it. And then I snip this little bit extra off. I turn it over. And I just put regular tape on the back to hold that down, because it really won't matter once I get it put on my card. And then I turn it back over, and I just make a knot. I actually tie it twice. I make a double knot. And then the other thing that I do to secure it, because you can see it's moving around up here in the front, is I actually secure it. Once I make that knot, I will secure that with a, I didn't get that right. I will secure that with a glue dot in the front also, because it just keeps it where I need it. And plus, my image is going to be really close to that. The glue dot won't show either. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I just tie that twice. And then I trim those little ends off to where I want it to be. And I have my a little bit more embellished barrel. It doesn't, like I said, you don't have to do this. It's just if you want to have a little bit extra to your barrel. But being plain, it's not really plain, being basic looks super also. This just gives you an idea to make a little bit, have a little bit more. So then what will happen is I'm going to make a card with this, and she is going to be setting on top of my barrel in my card. And that's going to be my next video. So thank you for watching. I will have the link below for the SVG in the description. And so please come back so you can see the next video. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I forgot to show you the little pieces that I told you to save out from this outside layer. I forgot to put those on the bottom and at the top when I was doing the video just a bit ago, and I just added those. So really quickly, again, I'm sorry, but I add those. You don't have to. As you can see in the video, it didn't really matter if you didn't like that look, but I went ahead and added that to the top and the bottom. Gives it a little bit more of a weight to it. So again, thank you for watching, and please come back for when I do the card with the barrel. Thanks.